is. Let's give him a hand. Check one.
No matter where you come from,
Tyler, I'm a little
no matter
low.
where
Am I low
you're
out there?
going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
You know, you can pull up the lyrics from our website if you wanted to read them on the phone. Who's she looking for? Sing, you're on. We're on. Here we go. Let's go. Swing wide the doors. Here we go.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Everybody.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shine. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I've learned to keep it inside, but now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, here is your platform host for the morning, Brother Christopher Naughton. Welcome him to the stage.
Good. Welcome to the sidewalk. Good morning. Hey, the weather has held up again. Wonderful to have all of you folks here, and terra firma, all of you folks watching online today. I am Christopher Naughton, a member of your Unity Renaissance Board, and it's with great pleasure that we're all here this morning. I just want to give a little shout out to Richard McDeesey last night. Those great Posse Awards, that great force of music. Many years from now, Richard, you may be long gone, but when this is a paragon of positive music and such an influence on the culture, we're seeing it now, and we'll see it continue to grow in our lifetimes and beyond that, for certain. And he was so well dressed, and I loved his green screen. It was wonderful. Hey, show of hands, who here has ever been a member of the military or has had a family member as a part of the military? All right, that's most of us. And, of course, we're here in coastal Virginia, Hampton Roads. And I just want to give a shout-out to all of you who have ever served our great country. May we never forget the dedication and the sacrifice that they have made through the ages. And beyond any political bounds, there are servants in our nation, whether they're prosecutors, government workers, whether they are members of the military. Politics goes out the window, and the United States is first and foremost. And I just want to thank you folks for your service, and all those who have served in the military. Now, I've been waiting for a long time to do this. One of my great pleasures in life is making this woman laugh. I don't have a joke for you today. I didn't prepare one. But I just want to tell you that Ann DeMichael is our speaker today. And an absolute treasure. I've known Ann for 20 plus years, and we're getting younger and better looking and smarter and all those good things. And Ann will talk today about the divine flowing through us. She is a speaker, a teacher, a great inspiration. I have to say that serving with her on the board for so many years, the font of wisdom, the great mystic among us is this woman right here. So it's my pleasure to have her here with us today. So let's join together. We have a vision statement and a mission statement here at Unity Renaissance. So let's start with our vision statement, which is a spiritually awakened world living in peace, love, and joy. And our mission, of course, is transform lives that transform the world. Let's just take a moment to get centered here. Let's just get in touch with our breath. Sometimes we make our spiritual journey more complicated than it needs to be. Sometimes all it is just getting in touch with our breath. In every great religious tradition, the word God has the word Ah in it. Buddha, Yahweh, God. It's all connected to our breath. So let's just take a moment and connect to that breath of ours. And we know we are present, we are in this moment, and we are together on this glorious Sunday.
All right, are y'all ready for little Ricky Byers this morning? All right, I know whoever you are, you know that God is good to you. God is so good. Can you say, my God is so good to me?
My God is so good to me.
Let's all stand and celebrate.
I got up this morning singing,
God is so good. That's your part.
I got up this morning singing,
God is so good.
I got up this morning singing,
God is so good. Now we all sing.
yeah, my God is so good to me.
You got it now. I'm feeling good down in my soul. What do you say?
God is so good.
I'm feeling good down in my soul.
God is so good.
I said I'm feeling good down in my soul.
God is so good.
Sing it out.
My God is so good to me.
What do you say, Nick?
And in my time of trouble, I know God is so good. In my time of trouble, I know God is so good. Well, in my time of trouble, I sing, God is so good.
Everybody sing.
I know my God is so good to me.
In my time of triumph, I know
God is so good.
in my time of triumph, I say,
God is so good.
in my time of triumph, I know
God is so good. My God is so good to me.
One more, Lily.
And when my day is over, I'm singing,
God is so good.
And when my day is over, I'm singing,
God is so good.
And when my day is over, I'm singing,
God is so good. My God is so good to me.
And now turn and greet your neighbor and say these words. The divine in me greets the divine in you. And we serve and celebrate for the glory of God.
Well, every day, in every way.
God is so good.
I said every day, in every way.
God is so good.
I'm gonna say when it's time to praise the Spirit.
God is so
I'm
good.
gonna say that
My God is so good to me.
every day, in every way,
God is so good.
every day, in every way.
God is so good.
When I take the time to praise the Spirit,
Take the time to praise the Spirit.
yeah.
We're gonna take the time to praise the Spirit. God is so good. My God is so good. My God is so. My God is so good to me.
That's what I was talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Taking it to church. I love that. It's a time of our service where we like to share the Daily Word, which is one of those great publications that's been part of Unity since probably the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's still going strong. And most people who subscribe to the Daily Word aren't even members of Unity. Imagine that. So today's word is kindness. Our affirmation is, I flow with divine love as I give and receive kindness. The word kindness triggers feelings of warmth, connection, and love in my heart. I smile as I recall ways that friends, family members, and others have shown me kindness. I feel again the gratitude and blessing I experienced in those moments. Gratitude, love, and a beautiful awareness of connection fill my heart and my mind in a remarkably similar way when I remember kindness that I have shared. The movement of electrons through a wire creates a current, a flow. As kindness moves from person to person, it creates a flow of divine love. Both giving and receiving are essential to this current of love. So I look for opportunities to share acts of kindness. I welcome with a grateful heart the kindness others share with me. And our scripture verse for today comes from Micah chapter 6, verse 8. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? Now, if you'd like prayer support for a need or celebration, you may call Silent Unity. Their 24/7 prayer ministry, anytime, day or night. Their number is 1-800-NOW-PRAY. You may also fill out a prayer request right here, the form on our website, or call the church and leave a message, and we will call you back. And now, please join us for the Lord's Psalm.
praise your name, your will in heaven and earth the same. Supply our needs, Lord, from day to day. Let your forgiveness light our way. Lead us away from temptation's hold. Deliver us, Lord, into your fold. For all the kingdom, power and praise, with you began and with you stays. Holy Creator,
Our Father,
we praise
who art
your
in heaven,
name.
hallowed be thy
Your
name.
will in
Thy
heaven
kingdom come,
and
thy will
earth
be
the
done,
same.
on earth as it is in heaven.
Supply our needs,
Give us this
Lord,
day our
from
daily
day
bread,
to day.
and forgive us our debts,
Let your
as we have also forgiven our debtors.
Lead us away
And lead us
from
not into temptation,
temptation's
but deliver us from evil.
deliver
For thine is
us,
the kingdom, the power,
into
and the
your
glory forever.
For
For
all the kingdom,
power
and praise, with you began and with you stays. Amen. Amen. Amen.
beautifully done, y'all. Thank you. It's time to introduce our awesome special guest vocalist today, Miss Michelle Fink, to sing you a little Gary Lynn Floyd song. If you were watching last night, you saw Gary a couple times. This is a beautiful chant of his called Christ in Me, Christ in You.
The Christ in me sees the Christ in you. Everyone's a chosen one, the many and the few. All together now it takes two. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. To know love is to be loved, and I know love will stay alive. If the Christ in me sees the Christ in you, everyone's a chosen one, the many and the few. All together now it takes two. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. If my friends feel sad and broken every time that my heart opens, love makes its way into the world. And the Christ in me sees the Christ in you. Everyone's a chosen one, the many and the few. All together now it takes two. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. All things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through the Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through the Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through the Christ who is my strength. I can do the Christ in me sees the Christ in me. I can do the Christ in me sees the Christ in me. I can do the Christ in me sees the Christ in me. I can do the Christ in me sees the Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength.
Michelle, think.
Well, good morning, everyone. What a pleasure it is to be here with you today. And wow, I actually felt like I was part of the music team then. And the joy of it is my microphone was off, so I could sing as loud as I wanted, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And actually, I want to thank all of you, the whole music team. Thank you so much. Gee whiz. It's beautiful. You know, that last line of the song you sang, Michelle, really speaks to me this morning. It speaks to all of us. I want to repeat it. I can do all things through the Christ who is my strength. Would you repeat that with me? Let's say that together. I can do all things through the Christ who is my strength. Well, you know, we know from Unity teachings and a variety of other teachings that there is God life within us. The Spirit of God is within us. The Christ, the presence of the Christ is within us. And yet, I wonder if you have ever had those moments where you just feel a tiny bit weary and overburdened, even though on some level you know the Spirit of the Christ, the strength of the Christ is within you. I wonder if you have ever said this or heard someone say this: I feel exhausted, I feel stressed, I feel bone tired, I feel drained, or I feel like I am on the edge of burnout. So if you can relate to that in any way, just give me a little wave. Yeah, I thought perhaps at one time or another we have all been there. You know, there's a story of two men riding a tandem bicycle. And so the one guy in the front's pedaling and he's really working hard. They get to the top of the hill and he says, wow, that was really tiring. I'm feeling exhausted from that. And the guy behind him said, yeah, I know what you mean. You know, I had my foot on the brake the whole time we were going up there so we wouldn't roll backwards. You know, oh my goodness, talk about a lot of extra work. And can you imagine how we sometimes do that to ourselves? We are in conflict with our own inner beliefs and we put the brakes on our good. You know, we live in a fast-paced world and a world that's constantly changing. And many times we take on that feeling of having to overachieve, to hurry, to get things done as quick as we can. And sometimes, just sometimes, that leaves our well-being in tatters. Now that's on a personal level. But imagine what is going on out here in the world. Who would have thought, really, that we would have been at this point with the pandemic all these months later? It's hard to even imagine. And who could have imagined the unprecedented activities around the 2020 presidential election? All of these things just add to frustration. I read a great article in last Sunday's Virginian Pilot, and it was entitled, "The Mental Fatigue Factor." It was really interesting. The subtitle of that was, "It's not that you don't care. It's possible that you're emotionally exhausted. It's not that you don't care. You're just tired. You're feeling tired. So comparing your pre-pandemic self, and that's what the article was really about, but it has many more far-reaching implications. But comparing your pre-pandemic self to your current self can be much like a slippery slope. So while you might consider yourself a creative person who enjoys just taking on new projects and new activities, opportunities for growth, the article said these days just putting on your pants can be a feat. And we can feel that way at times, especially for those who classify themselves as sort of like a type A personality. You've heard of those. I'm sure none of you out there are that. Type A overachiever. And now they find themselves just going through low energy. Okay, so that's really something to be thinking about, because you don't really have to be a type A overachiever right now to be feeling what's going on in our world and what might be going on in your personal world. And this was the thing I found interesting. A psychologist named Yvonne Thomas said the following: before you start to doubt your abilities, remember that nearly everyone may be suffering from mental fatigue right now. And she goes on to say, that's why we may find it difficult to focus on a task, because we may very well be emotionally maxed out. So I don't know about you. I can relate to that with a particular instance that happened in my life. It was about 8 weeks ago. Deborah, my beloved partner, had a complete shoulder replacement. I got to play lovely Nurse Ann. And then the other part that was going on at the same time was that our kitchen was being fully remodeled. The cabinets were out. The sink was out. The water was off. It was totally bare. And all the belongings were scattered throughout the rest of the house, mostly in the dining room. But I found something very interesting. Now, we hadn't planned it that way. Let me say that. That was just the events came together just the way they did. You know, I've tried to have the same thought that they come together, we deal with them the best we can, and we move on. But I remember something very specific. I remember just calling out to no one in particular, holy mackerel, help me. I'm feeling weary, and I'm feeling overburdened. And I felt like I was on the edge of burnout. Some mornings I would wake up, and as I'd swing my feet off the bed, I'd think, I wonder who I'm going to show up as today, lovely Nurse Ann or Nurse Ratchet. And sometimes I am really not sure how I showed up. I guess I should check in with Debbie on that. So the question I want to ask you is, what can we do when the circumstances in our life become a bit much? What can we do? What can you do? What can I do when we feel weary and overburdened? Well, our way shower and master teacher Jesus had a great lesson for us, and I want to share it with you. It comes from the New Revised Standard Version. It's the book of Matthew. It's chapter 11, it is Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. Come to me, all ye that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Come to me, and I will give you rest. Well, I'll tell you what, when I read that, I went, hallelujah. This could not be happening a moment too soon. And I discovered something interesting about myself during that kitchen renovation, and I want to visit that for a moment. I learned that I work on autopilot, because even though everything was out of the kitchen, whenever I needed a fork, I went to the same place in the kitchen where it is, next to the refrigerator. Matter of fact, I pride myself on knowing where everything is in that kitchen. I wish I could apply the same to my office and garage, but that is a story for another day. So what I learned about autopilot was that autopilot is what we do automatically. We do the same responses to things in the present moment that we might have done in the past. The exact same thing. Have you ever been driving down the road and you meant to go to the grocery store, but instead you just went straight and took the exit off for home? That would be considered autopilot. And that happens in a multitude of areas in our life. So I want to spend a moment on that because, for example, if we're in a routine that when something happens in our life, and there's a lot happening in our lives right now. Let me take a moment on that. First of all, we have our own health challenges going on. We may have the health challenges of those we love, and we want to be able to be there for them. We may have job challenges. We may have relationship challenges. There's a lot going on. And so if our auto response or our autopilot response is to look to the outer for our awareness, to look to the outer for our learnings, we may be stressed to the limit, bone tired, and on the edge of burnout. When we look to the outer for answers, many times we take the attitude of, let me see what I can do. Emphasis on I. Let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can straighten out in my world. Oh, yeah. And let me see what I can straighten out in your world. All right? And let me see how I can solve this. I. Many times, that autopilot I can cause lots of concerns. In order to make conscious choices, we must slow down our thinking. If we do this, it helps us to turn within and turn off the autopilot. It helps us to turn to that inner space where all the answers lie. The joy of looking at Bible verses really is our ability to just look at them metaphysically. It's one of the great learnings from Unity, to be able to take a Bible verse and make it real for us. So one metaphysical interpretation of the Bible verse I read was on the words, come to me. And one interpretation of that is, come to the Christ, the presence of spirit within. Now that is the autopilot response I want. And I hope you do too. Come to that place within you. It's the only place and the only way the presence of spirit within us can express. And if we do that, if we turn within, we will find peace and rest. And if we try to live only from our physical and mental selves, we will indeed find life difficult and exhausting. So when life gets tough, I know the tough get going, right? But have you ever wondered where they go? Okay? Now, I think they go away for a while. They come apart for a while. And I want to share this with you. It's one of my favorite books. It's Maya Angelou, Wouldn't Take Nothing for My Journey Now. It's an older book, but oh, it is just filled with gems. And in it, she says the following. And this is really about us looking at our outer circumstances for a moment. Every person needs to take one day away. Side note, how long has it been since you have taken one day away? Yeah. A day in which one consciously separates the past from the future. Each person deserves a day away in which no problems are confronted, no solutions searched for. Each of us needs to withdraw from the cares which will not withdraw from us. We need hours. I love this. We need hours of aimless wandering or spats of time sitting on park benches, observing the mysterious world of ants and the canopies of treetops. And then she says, when I return home, I am always surprised to find some questions I sought to evade have been answered, and entanglements I had hoped to flee have become unraveled in my absence. Oh, how sweet that is. A day away acts as a spring tonic. Would you like a glass of that tonic? It can dispel rancor, transform indecision, and renew the spirit. That is so powerful for us. And so that is really, isn't it, a way that we can at least deal with what's going on in the outer world. Another short-term word for that is self-care. And so I hope you will find ways to make that happen for yourself. Now, what's interesting when you think about the inner journey that we've started to talk about, that inner space, Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, had some interesting things to say about that. As a matter of fact, Charles did a series of talks called Temple Talks. They were kind of put away in a little space and forgotten about for a while, and then they were compiled and put in a book in 1912. So I am so glad we still have these available to us. And I would like to share with you what Charles said about the inner journey. Charles Fillmore, in 1912, wrote this talk. It was called The Day of Rest. And I'd like to share a portion of it right now. In his talk, he starts out by reading the Bible verse from Matthew, and I know by the time we finish today, you are going to have this Bible verse memorized. Come to me, all of you that are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. He went on to say, those words are constantly going forth and are being spoken to every one of us. If you are tired, if you are burdened with worldly care, if you are nervous, if you are tense or anxious, just let go. Really, could it be that simple? Just let go. Relax and go into the rest of God. Well, thank you, Charles. Well said. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. So life is an inside job, and we must build within. Real peace comes from opening an inner space that makes room for God's wisdom, God's creativity, God's divine presence to express within us and through us. And opening inner space is about quieting the mind, opening the heart, and disconnecting ourselves, as we said, from the human world. All the hustling crowds, the rat race noise, and many and any other external distractions. So connecting with that inner space within us is what brings us, what brings you, all of us, the peace of God that passes all human understanding. Every single one of us can use an inner house cleaning where we just clean out the grit and the grime, get rid of it, all of that within us that is no longer serving our highest good, and replace it with something that inspires and uplifts and builds us up. And when we do that, great blessings happen. There is a place in you where the strength of God abides. Let your Christ consciousness be your guide. And remember, life is an inside job. So I've got one more piece from Charles Fillmore that I just love, and it starts to bring us to conclusion today. And this is from his book, Talks on Truth. He said, remember that you cannot perform a single act without putting your consciousness into it. All things are sustained by your conscious thought projection. So this week, let's put our conscious thought projection into these 3 practices. As you greet the new day, you know, when your legs are swinging up off that bed and you're just about to hop up to get to all those activities you have to do, stay for a moment and connect into that inner space within you that lets you know that in God you live and move and have your being. And from the smallest task you take on that day to your greatest undertaking, know that you are not alone. At noontime, maybe set your watch or set your phone. At noontime, connect once again into that inner space, that place of peace and calm within you, and take a peaceful pause. Yes, a peaceful pause. You deserve it. It's a gift that you give yourself. You have time to do this. So allow yourself then to feel renewed and refreshed and invigorated. And when you return once again to whatever tasks you might be doing, do so with a sense of renewed energy and enthusiasm. And if you're not quite feeling that, repeat as necessary. And third, as the day draws to a close, now you're getting ready to swing those legs up onto the bed once more. Tap into that inner space within you and give thanks for the day and the experiences that you've had. Yes, a moment of gratitude before you close your eyes. And then allow yourself to drift into a peaceful, restful sleep. Come to me. Come to the Christ consciousness, and I will give you rest. So let us turn to our meditation. I just invite you to take a moment to relax and allow yourself to enjoy a collective, peaceful pause. Take a deep breath and feel yourself beginning to relax. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And be aware of your body as it relaxes. Breathe in and breathe out. And allow any tension to gently slip away. In this moment, dear friends, let go of any troubles on your heart and mind. Let go of the past. Let go of the future. And be fully present in this now moment. And as you do, you find that it doesn't take much time out of your day to find peace, because true peace is within you, always within you. So as you quiet your mind and relax your body, you tap in to that deep peace. Feel this deep peace filling you from your toes all the way to the top of your head as we get ready to go into the silence. And so we see that inner peace is a quiet choice that no one sees and no one hears. It is a gentle and simple state of being. And so today, as you go through your day, I invite you to take this affirmation with you and use it many, many times. I can do all things through the Christ that is my strength. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I
Ann DeMichael, thank you so very much. You had us all at hello. It's that time in the service where we get a chance to be in that flow completely by giving back to a community that gives so richly. Several ways you can give, of course. The first one is the most fun way. You can text give or the amount to
540-418-1228. Text now.
540.
I hope you copyrighted that. And there's other ways to give, of course. You'll see folks with their wonderful butterfly nets moving amongst you, so if you have cash or check. And if you have that, why don't you put it in your hands right now, or maybe your smartphone, because you've given to our community that way, and say these words with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Back again measure. It's given back to you.
Nicely done. Oh, I guess I need this on this side. There's Michelle to sing this beautiful song from Marcy Baruch.
This inner space has the power to set me free. It's the cavern of creation and the truth of you and me. This inner space, an eternity of time. It's the moment of the holy now and the allness that is mine. This inner space contains all that I need. From deep within the invisible flows the living air I breathe. This inner space is flowing in my bones. It stirs my heart, it stirs my mind, and every prayer I've ever known. I say, breathe, just breathe. Now breathe. This peace, this inner space is the ocean of your soul. When you feel most broken, the truth is you are whole. This inner space connects us one to all, and though it would never push you, it will break down every wall. I say, breathe, just breathe. Now breathe. This peace, this inner space invites us to renew. In all my endless choosing, I become the chosen to this inner space. It never knows the past. In a quiet place, you can hear it, and it might just make you laugh. And I say, just breathe. Now breathe. This peace of this inner space.
Michelle Fink, ladies and gentlemen, give her some love. Yeah, baby, that was great.
Wow. My goodness. A gorgeous song played so beautifully by
Marcy
this group.
Baruch. We're going to get her
And
here one of these
yeah,
weeks.
beautiful, beautiful. And Michelle, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gorgeously sung. Just a few announcements, folks, before we part company today. A life mastery consultant, Dana Consuelo, will be hosting a new workshop via Zoom starting this week, November the 17th. This 4-week class is called Standing Firm When Your World is Shaking. You'll learn the 4 phases of the hero's journey and 12 important tools based on spiritual principles to help you move through your journey, discovering the gifts the experience can bring to you, and create a new beginning in your lives. For more information, visit our website and search under events. Now make sure you stay up with all of the things that are going on at Unity Renaissance, all dates, all events happening here by signing up for our weekly e-blast if you haven't already. It's simple enough. Just go to our website and click on Join Our List. You folks don't know what you're missing if you're watching the live stream today. It's just gorgeous out here. Fall is just, the wind is just blowing among us, and it's wonderful. Next Sunday, November the 22nd, How Gratitude Changes Everything. Folks will probably remember that our dear Amber McCullough, who's a member of our board, went through a really terrible accident, motorcycle accident, a little over a year ago, and she's doing very well. But next Sunday, Reverend Paula will be interviewing her on the difference between gratitude and not having gratitude and the difference that it has made in her healing journey. And finally, thank you, Richard, the Unity Renaissance Bookstore is open today, but it will not after the service, but it's not going to be open this Tuesday afternoon, but rather this Thursday afternoon. So come by between 3 and 6 p.m. to browse the bookstore or to purchase our new cookbook. And with that, why don't we all stand in this gorgeous weather and these lovely fall breezes, and together let's say our prayer for protection, followed by our peace song. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in Have a great week, everybody.